to get sober, things were quite interesting. I thought as soon as I quit alcohol, life would be great. I'd make a bunch of money, I'd feel better, people would applaud me for staying sober, and life would be wonderful. However, what I found was quite different. Today, Terry and I are going to be talking about what we learned and what we found out the first week sober. What could have taken us out, what could have kept us sober, and what will keep you sober as well. How do you make it through that first week of detox and tremors and dealing with seeing and hearing things and not having alcohol to help you through it? Well, today that's what we're going over. So if you're struggling with trying to stay sober and you can go a couple days, but a week seems impossible, this is the video for you. How you doing, Terry?
Oh, I'm doing well.
Good to
It's a
hear.
beautiful day here. It's 16 degrees and sunny.
There you go. All right. It's like 60 or 50 degrees here, I think it is, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I tell you, when I was trying to quit drinking, it didn't matter what the weather was. I still managed to get out and go get booze and kept on thinking about trying to quit drinking and tried many times to quit drinking and made it for half a day or so. I don't know that I really made it for a minute much more than a day or two without drinking. I think I did because I had to deal with certain important situations where I was required to be sober. So I did manage to do that here and there. But it was that first week of sobriety for me was brutal. Well, let me tell you guys, I got sober twice as far as really, really trying and really putting effort into staying sober, making that big decision that I'm going to get sober. And that's what kind of the experience that I had as far as how many times that I tried. And the first time that I got sober was rehab, and that was the same rehab that Marcus went to. And I know he has a little bit different experience than I did when I showed up, when you show up at a rehab, they breathalyze you right away. And I hadn't had a drink in 18 hours, and I still blew a .24. So I was, yeah, my baseline was very high as far as the amount of alcohol I usually had in my system, and I was a mess. And I know Marcus went through this too because they make everybody go through it, and you got to go into a little room for sleeping, and they keep track of you. They check on you every whatever 15 minutes. Who knows? I don't know how often they checked on me, but it's basically medical detox is what it is. And for any of you that are considering quitting, detox is dangerous. It is necessary to go through medical detox, and you can get many physical withdrawal symptoms, and I had them all. And I mean, I'm just going to go over them real quick, but like those are like you could get nausea and vomiting and tremors and headaches and sweating, insomnia, major anxiety, agitation, increased blood pressure and heart rate, seizures in severe cases. That happened to me. Delirium tremens, confusion, or hallucinations. There's a lot of symptoms that can happen with going through withdrawal. And for me, there was no warning when these things started. So that's why medical detox was necessary, at least for me. And it's necessary, at least seeing a doctor to see where your level of dependency might be, so that you can detox safely. And I was very glad that I had that, and they got me through it. But it was a mess. If you look at the thumbnail, I had day 1, day 3, and day 7. That really is how I felt. Those looks right there, those weren't the actual pictures. I was much rounder when I got sober. but day 1, I was a mess. And those first 3 days were horrible. It took me, I think it took 3 or 4 days to get out of that room where they felt I could go into a regular room and sleep, and they just check on you once or twice a night. But yeah, I remember like day 2 or whatever, I go out to the group and they're like, "Wow, you win the award of the most messed up looking person here." I was pretty messed up, but yeah, it's really scary. And those are just physical symptoms that I had, and it is necessary to get some supervision involved. But there's also the emotional and mental changes, and maybe Marcus, maybe that you had a little bit less of the physical and maybe a little more of the emotional. I was too much of a mess to even have the emotions, but at least in the beginning. But what about you, Marcus?
Yeah, for me, the first day, I don't remember doing the breathalyzer. I probably did. I don't know. I was pretty anxious when I went into the rehab. Um, I remember going in the little room. I remember the detox. I remember they gave us stuff for detox because obviously it can be very dangerous detoxing from alcohol and different things like that. So we had to be careful of that stuff. And it was difficult for the most part, but having a doctor there is key, right? That was something that really helped. I remember anxiety was through the roof. I couldn't sleep well, and being a germaphobe in rehab was not a good thing. That's it was a pretty germy place. Excuse me. And so looking at that was difficult. And I remember the times that I had tried to stay sober for a week before were much easier. I don't know why this one was so bad. Probably because I was just going for it. I was just on a bender night and day. And I remember times before I would confuse myself saying, yeah, I can stay sober. I do have this. I can handle this. But every time I just kept going back out. Like Kevin says, it's been hard to stop. I want it sometimes, yet sometimes I don't. Any advice? Yeah, I mean, one, if you've been drinking, you should definitely go to the doctor for detox. Get it out of your system safely. A lot of people underestimate how dangerous alcohol detox can be, but it's extremely dangerous. Terry was a testament to that. Very, very dangerous. As far as wanting it, one of the things that helps me is having it off of the table. Like if you want it, but you still have like, oh well, I could try one in the back of your mind, then you're setting yourself up for failure. Like, okay, I could try one. Yeah, well, you tried one a million times. How many more times do you need to try one? It doesn't work. Having it off the table completely is what kept me sober, saying I don't drink anymore. Now, that doesn't have to be for the rest of my life, although now I've pretty much chose that that's what's going to be because I don't really miss it. I don't really care anymore. And I know the bad effects outweigh the good 1,000 to 1. I know that alcohol lied to me thinking, oh, this is how you have fun. This is how you loosen up. And it's like, okay, well, all of those things I do better now that I'm sober. Much better. Like going to a hangout or going to a dance club or whatever, sober is way better. If you don't believe me, go try it. Now, maybe after you've been sober a while, because it might be difficult in those situations if you do have memories of being drinking at them. But again, looking at like the lies that it tells you and looking at the struggles you have, looking at what it does to your mental health. What alcohol does to your mental health is so damaging. Like I remember therapists would tell me, "Oh, it's alcohol misuse. You're self-medicating." It's like, well, one, it's not medicine, and two, it's not helping. Like if they gave you some kind of miracle drug that did what alcohol does, they'd be like, yeah, let's take this off the market. It's not actually working. Very important. Kevin also says, I'm not physically addicted at this time. I've had long stretches without it. Many months before, stop and then start for short periods is where I've been stuck right now. Well, I mean, get a resolve that you don't drink anymore. That's the key. That's what's going to help because what's happening is you're introducing a little bit of alcohol into your system. And us alcoholics, we can't just have one. It never works. Like that's why I don't go and have a cigar. I was talking to the guy at the place where we get our waters, and he was talking about cigars because I used to, talk cigars with him because he likes them. And I was like, I would love to have one now, but I know if I have one, I'm going to have 50, and then I'm going to have a box, and then I'm just going to be right back where I was because it makes you want more. One drink has never been enough for me. And even though I don't feel like I'm physically addicted, I might be mentally addicted. And that's the harder one to kick. The physical addiction's gone when you quit. Like you get sober for 7 days, the physical addiction is pretty much gone. It's all mental after that point. And when you realize you're battling a mental addiction to a chemical that's going to introduce a chemical dependency. So it's kind of like, yeah, let me light this fire in this dangerous place and pretend it's not really going to light. It's going to light. It's going to happen. You can't fight chemicals. You have a hard enough time fighting your mental. Like I had a hard enough time trying to fight my mental addiction, let alone the physical. What are your thoughts on that, Terry? Like the physical versus mental. Now being 10 years sober, I think all we have is the mental.
Right. Well, for me, the approaching sobriety. So let me go back to what you said earlier. Is you said that that when you had quit on your own before, it didn't seem so difficult. This is kind of what I got out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you went to the rehab facility, it was much worse. But
I,
really, your withdrawal symptoms were probably the same.
no.
But the
That
thing
that's what was
was,
worse.
what's that?
So when I tried to detox on my own, the
Right,
worst time was the time I went into rehab, and it was bad at home and
right.
bad at rehab. Yeah.
Right. And part of that was that mental aspect that
Mm-hmm.
you knew. You were like, here I am, 30 days. I'm committing.
Yeah.
I'm committing to this. And that's hard. And for me that was definitely that definitely produced a lot of anxiety, but I knew I was in a medical facility, so I knew that I could detox safely and maybe it wouldn't be so painful. But approaching sobriety, I was mostly scared about the physical. But once I got through the physical, yes, that obsession, Kevin, that's what you have. You have an obsession. And is it obsessing you constantly? I don't know. I don't know you. Are you constantly thinking about alcohol? Probably not. It doesn't sound like you are. But you sound more like you might like to binge here and there. So you like the feeling. But it's hard to get out of that. It's hard to get to the point where you said you sometimes don't want to quit, and that's more sometimes you want to drink, and maybe that's because you got some friends going to watch the game or whatever situation that makes you want to go, and it's difficult to get away from that. I don't go to the bar and watch football games with my friends anymore. I had to stop doing that. Oh, I watch them at home. I still enjoy it. I still hang out with some friends that I used to drink with. Well, I don't live near them anymore, but I did when I was living there. I would still hang out with them. I wouldn't go hang out with them when I was drinking, when they were drinking. I'd go do other things, other activities that we all like to do. And that's what I did. It's difficult to get out of that starting and stopping habit when you keep doing the same thing over and over again. It does require some changes in your life. So finding out what you like to do that does not involve alcohol. And maybe that means you have to let some of those friends go. I did. Some of those friends, I mean, it's not like I said, okay, I'm no longer your friend. We can't be friends anymore. And it's not that, but it's, no, I'm not going to go to the bar and watch the game with you. They knew I was sober. I was pretty open with it. So they knew not to invite me to those things. But we still did things together. It's changing that perspective towards life where alcohol is just not part of the picture. It's not an issue. I have this other life. And is it easy? No, it's not necessarily easy, and the mental obsession is the hardest thing. But we are kind of talking about that first week, and we did say 1 week sober in our honest experience, and those first 12 to 24 hours are crucial, and even going beyond that. But and this all happened to me. And for me, I had very severe withdrawal symptoms and hallucinations. That's what happened with me. Just felt terrible. I mean, I don't even remember it that much, but I was a mess. I couldn't do much at all. I was just kind of existing. But 24 to 48 hours, that's when generally the seizures, if somebody's going to get them, that's when they occur. it happened to me. That was the second time I got sober. And that's, yeah, put me in the hospital, put me in a coma for 2 weeks. So that's where it gets dangerous. After 72 hours, usually symptoms start to subside. They don't subside right away. It's not like they're gone, but they usually start to get better. That's when I was able to get out of that room, and I was able to join the rest of the people that were there. But that was that first 3 days. So by day three, all of my nerves were starting to spark, and so that's where the anxiety really started to fire up, and that's where I had a lot of shaking. Like they had juice, and they were saying drink lots of juice because that'll help calm you down a little bit. I couldn't even bring the glass. I was like this. I had to hold the straw, and it was really difficult. It was a difficult thing, definitely, to get through, but they slowly subsided. And after a week, I was actually reasonably happy. That's when I actually, in rehab, I started to be bored because there's really not a lot you could do. I think that's when you start trying to find lots of cigarettes and things like that to make up, which is not recommended. But try playing board games, and they didn't let us watch movies or anything, so we just did a lot of stuff like that. But they didn't have property you could walk around,
A lot of
so we did.
smoking.
Yeah, a lot of smoking, a lot of war stories being told by everybody, and all that stuff. But the first 7 days, it's tough, and doing it on your own, it's 10 times worse. If you don't have a support system, that's what you really need to do. And I've already said it a whole bunch of times today so far. Is the first thing you have to do is prioritize your safety.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to go over that again. And the next thing is managing those withdrawal symptoms. And one thing you guys can do, I just kind of went over them really quick. We have 3 other videos on our channel that talk more specifically about withdrawal symptoms and how to deal with them. So you can just hit the search on our channel, Talk Sober, and you can find those there. But that's something you got to manage. And as
Yeah.
Marcus has already said, avoid alcohol 100%. Don't give yourself that, oh, I'm just going to have the one drink to take some of the edge off. It's not going to work. If you're really trying to stop drinking, you got to take it off of the table. It has to be out of your house. I took all the alcohol out of the house. I took medicines that, maybe were prescribed that have addictive properties. I got rid of those. I got rid of the mouthwash with alcohol in it, vanilla extract, all that stuff that has alcohol in it. I got it out of the house so that at least I have a little bit of a buffer. I could always walk to the store and get more, sure, of course. But at least getting it out of the house, that would give me that few minutes where maybe I can get myself back in the right mindset, back in the sober mindset. But the other one is maybe for you, Kevin. This might be something if you haven't done it already, but getting that support system and having other sober alcoholics that you can talk to, whether it's 12-step meetings or a hospital or us on our Facebook group or joining our Talk Sober program. One of those things, anything that can help you,
Yeah.
definitely.
And Kevin says he usually doesn't drink with other people. Can you relate to that? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I drink alone most of the time. So yeah, definitely very important.
That's why it's
Yeah,
that's
go ahead.
why it's hard. It for us alcoholics is most of us end up isolating because we don't want other people to call us out or whatever, don't want to drive, there's all sorts of factors as to why we might isolate. And that's why most of us end up being solo drinkers. And that's why that it's important to get a support system. And I've heard many, many alcoholics say, I don't want, I'm a loner. I'm a loner. I like to be alone. Yeah, me too. I'm great at hanging out by myself, doing with nobody in my life for days on end. But to get the support system is super important. It just is.
Absolutely. Awesome. So let's see. Yeah, no, I drank alone most of the time. Let's
Yeah.
see. Christian, hope you're doing well and staying safe in Southern California. Carl says it took me 20 times as false starts.
Yeah.
I'm probably right there about that number, maybe more. But yeah, understanding like it is about taking it off the table and understanding, hey, you know what? This is something like it's a battle I'm going to lose. I mean, how many times do you need to prove to yourself you're going to lose it? I lost a zillion times, and now I know I'm going to lose. Drink, going to lose, going to lose, going to lose. No question, it will kick my butt. And so I got to watch for that. But yeah,
Yeah.
hopefully that helps you guys.
Yes, definitely.
All right, you want to
So
talk about? Oh, go ahead.
no, it's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say you want to talk about our Talk Sober mug you got there, that fancy
Oh
mug you're
yeah,
using.
check
There you
this
go.
out. I got this really fancy mug that got sent to me. It says 3,650. I'm more days than that. But I'm 10 years. Here you go. That's what I got for being in our Talk Sobriety program.
Yep. Yep, and
That's
you
right.
guys can go. You can get your Talk Sober mug and join Talk Sober. Terry's actually working on making all the videos fancy and new, which is really cool. He's just doing that to make the program better. As if it's not worth $1 a day, he's going to make it worth a lot more than that. So you
Yeah.
can go there and get your sobriety mug, even if you're on day one. Just make a commitment. Get a mug that says day one, and don't drink, and keep that. And what you could do, you could actually go to talksober.com. You can click the button and start over with your sobriety date. So let's say your name is the same as mine, and your sobriety date is 12/12/2024, or whatever it is. You hit calculate. This will actually save your sobriety date. So every time you go to talksober.com, it's going to be there and it's going to remind you. And you can join the course there. You can even take a screenshot, which will download it, and you can post this on social media and say, hey, check it out, guys. I've been sober using talksober.com, and share your experience. And then people can follow up with you. We actually have a Facebook group down here where you can join the Facebook group. Go in there. Like, if you guys like these talks and you want to support what we're doing, and maybe you're not yet ready to join, just go post it in Facebook. Like, you can go over there and post your mug and say, hey, guys, I'm 40 days. I'm on a commitment. And people will help you stay on track there. It's kind of like a little accountability group. You can also join our class here, which is just $27 a month, which is less than the price of cheapest beer you could probably get domestically, right? You can fill that out, cancel whenever you want. You'll get instant access to all the stuff. There's also other resources there for you as well over at talksober.com. So if you like this stuff, go on over there, check it out, and yeah, get a screenshot of the mug, post it up, and you can put it on your Instagram or TikTok or whatever you fancy, and share your strength and hope and your commitment to stay sober.
Yes, indeed.
All right, so I think that's about it for today, unless there's anything else to add there, Terry.
Just if you are going to quit, get that help, get that support system, take alcohol off the table.
And
That's what you need to do.
detox with the doctor.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right, cool deal, guys. Well, thanks for being here. Smash that like button. Hop on over to talksober.com, support the channel, and if you guys like these and want to keep us going, just join the course, and there's all kinds of PDFs and cool stuff for you over at talksober.com. Thanks again, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.